audio codec. Okay, right. It should be working now. Thank you very much, Maya, for letting me know. But anyway, sorry, let's get back to the lesson. So, thank you, Maya. Um, okay, so nail clippings. This is indeed a problem with cutting your nails at night. Now, can anyone tell me why might cutting your nails at night be bad luck? Does anyone know this? I'll be very impressed if anyone can tell me why cutting your nails at night might be a problem. Again, it's actually a reason from a long time ago, and this was before we had electricity. Okay, so before we had electricity, we had to rely on these gas lamps. Yeah, it was not easy at night. You can't just press a button and easily get some light. You had to light a candle or a lamp. And so, of course, if you're cleaning your nails at night, then it's a lot darker, maybe kind of like in the background, like I have here. But it's a lot darker, and also they didn't really have the kind of nail clippers that we have today. Yeah, they had these kind of, it looks pretty scary, right? These nail cleaners, they almost look like torture or like devices to hurt people. But no, these were things that people used to clean their nails a long time ago. Okay? So, pretty scary, right? Now, nowadays, we are very lucky to have these. Sorry, button. We are very lucky to have these nail clippers. Um, the design has evolved a lot recently. Uh, it was first invented in the late 1800s. Okay, but back then, it really was very dangerous to cut your nails at night, so people just spread the story, don't cut your nails at night because some spirit or ghost will give you bad luck. But it wasn't really related to bad luck. It was just dangerous. Okay? Alright, nice. So let's move on. Having a look at this one. What's going on here? I'll be very impressed if anybody can tell me both. There are two. What was it? There are two superstitions here. Very common in Europe, not so much Japan or other Asian countries. Okay? So, what do you guys think? Any ideas? I'll give you 10 seconds. I'll give you a clue. This part in the top right is maybe a letter, maybe F, and in the bottom right we have a number. Hmm. Okay, do we have any ideas so far? So we have a letter, F, and a number. Looks like maybe a 1 in the corner. Ooh, interesting. Mora says 13, and HM says floor. Floor 13? Very close. It's actually. I pressed the button, nothing happened. It's actually Friday the 13th, and we'll talk about this later. But there's also a black cat. Now, interestingly, in some countries, a black cat is bad luck because it's kind of connected to bad magic, witches, and things like that. But in other countries, it's a sign of good luck. So I don't know why it's good or bad. I don't know the good reason, but there you go. So Friday the 13th is a very unlucky day as well. Yeah. So, first question, very important for today. What is a superstition? Okay. Now, some actually, I'll give you guys the answer, or I'll let you guys answer. Sorry, my brain is not working. What is a superstition? Just a short sentence or, yeah, a short phrase. What is a superstition? I'll give you 10 seconds. Yeah, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. I know it's very hard to kind of type very quickly on your phone, so if you take your time, just go ahead. Okay? So, a superstition is a belief about good or bad luck that doesn't have any scientific evidence. Yeah? And we have this little cute cat waving to us in the corner. So it's any belief. Yeah, if you do this, it's good luck. If you do that, it's bad luck, and so on. But we don't have any proof. We don't have any support to prove this. Yeah. So, for example, whistling at night is bad luck. If you look at this person, this is very common in Asian countries. Whistling at night is very bad luck because you might attract some unwanted visitors, like strangers or maybe snakes or something like that. Yeah? In Japan, putting your chopsticks vertically in rice is bad luck because it looks like the incense, these kind of like nice smelling sticks that you put, where do you put it? You put it outside temples, especially when people have passed away. So it's kind of related to death, as most bad superstitions are. Yeah. So please do not do this if you go to a Japanese restaurant or any restaurant. Yeah. And finally, a rabbit's foot is good luck. Okay. I don't really know why a rabbit's foot is good luck, and why is it the foot? Why not the ear or any other part of the body? But it just is. Okay? So there is the definition of a superstition, a belief about good or bad luck that has no evidence. Now, let's do a little bit of a quiz, and this is where I want you guys to share your answers. Just a simple real or fake. Okay, real or fake. Yeah. So I'm going to show you some superstitions. Some are really from a certain country in the world, and some of these I just made up completely. Okay, so I want you to listen carefully, or read carefully, and think, is this a real superstition somewhere in the world, or is it just rubbish? Is it just fake? Number one, let's have a look. Going outside during a solar eclipse is bad luck because the sunlight becomes poisonous. Okay, so, does this sound too crazy to be true? Or is it so crazy that it must be right? What do you think? I'll give you 5 seconds, just real or fake. What do you think? Real? Fake? I know the answer because I have the answer right here. But any ideas? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is it's actually real. Yeah, and this superstition comes from India. Toxic solar rays. Yeah, in India, when there's a solar eclipse, many people stay indoors as they believe the sun's rays become toxic, become poisonous during this period. Even local newspapers report on this, warning people to stay indoors. Some parts of India, people also fast. Fast meaning to stop eating for religious reasons. They fast during a solar eclipse as they believe any food cooked will also be poisonous. Okay, so if we have any people from India, maybe you can tell us if this is really true. I got this from the internet, and of course, you know, you can't trust everything you read on the internet these days. But how is it? Any Indian viewers today? Is it really poisonous? Is this really a superstition? Okay, the next one. Dropping a spoon means a stranger will visit. Dropping a fork means bad weather is coming. Hmm, what do you think? Dropping a spoon, dropping a fork. What about a knife? Is there another superstition for a knife? Dropping things, bad luck? I mean, sometimes they say that breaking glass, dropping like glass is bad luck. No, sorry, it's breaking a mirror is bad luck. Dropping glass is okay, but it is a bit dangerous. So, what do you think? Real or fake? Dropping a spoon, dropping a fork. Five, four, three, two, one. The answer is this is rubbish. It's hogswash. It's all fake. Okay? So, nice try. Thank you very much. Yeah, some of these really do sound real, don't they? Okay, what about when a bird sings near your window at night? It means something dangerous is coming. Yeah, thinking about those fairy tales, Snow White when she wakes up in the morning with her beautiful, perfect hair. What was it? The birds are singing, they're flying through the windows, the animals are waiting for her to wake up. It's a fairy tale, but when a bird sings near your window at night, does it mean something as dangerous is coming? Or is it just fake? What do you think? Any ideas? Mm. Three, two, one. This is actually rubbish. But it is partly based on a true story. Now, interestingly, I talked to another student earlier this morning, and she told me that I forgot which country, it's a country that uses elephants to do work like carry heavy things. So I think maybe India. That's the only country I can think of. Um, but when there is an earthquake, elephants, before the quake has started, they will often run to higher ground. Okay? So obviously, elephants are very smart creatures, very smart animals. So they run to the higher ground because they know it's safer at the higher places. Similarly, if you look at kind of cats and dogs, they are very sensitive to sound, vibrations, and birds too. So they often detect or realize there's an earthquake before us humans realize. So if your dog or cat suddenly starts going crazy, then maybe you should get ready because an earthquake might be coming. I wonder if they can sense any other natural disasters. I've heard something like if a cat is licking its whiskers, these parts, or if it's licking its paw, it means it will rain tomorrow. I think that's Japanese, but I'm not sure about that one. But anyway, yeah, it does sound like a myth, doesn't it? But anyway, okay, next one. Sleeping in a room with the fan on at night is dangerous because it might kill you while you sleep. Hmm, what do you think about this one? It sounds a bit stupid, but it kind of does sound real. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Hmm. Um, so I'll give you 3 seconds just quickly reading some of the comments. Layla says, in my country where I live now, when a bird comes around, your good news is on the corner. Ooh, interesting. And which country are you from, Layla? I can't see the country flag. It's too small, sorry. Um, and then Tunisia, wonderful. Thank you very much. Interesting. Yeah, every country has its own superstitions and culture, of course. So it's always interesting. Sometimes there is a kind of like a variation. Like, for example, instead of opening an umbrella indoors, it might be another item. Yeah. Superstitions even spread to other countries sometimes, but there we go. Okay, so sleeping in a room, is it real or fake? It's actually real, and I was surprised to hear it's actually from South Korea. In South Korea, people will never sleep in a closed room with the fan on, as it's believed the fan will end up killing you while you sleep. However, if you leave a window slightly open, you'll be okay. So there you go. I mean, summer has ended. Well, it's starting to end for most countries. It's certainly getting a lot cooler here in Japan. But yeah, if you don't have air conditioning, then your fan is your next best friend. And of course, you should probably leave the window open so you can get the air moving around, right? But if you close the window and the doors, be careful, your fan might kill you. I don't know if you guys have heard of a movie series called Final Destination. It's a horror movie series where basically people die for the craziest accidents, like coincidences. So, like, for example, a boy drops an ice cream and then the ice cream makes somebody slip. They drop like their phone in the air, it hits this. It's basically a crazy chain reaction. But it's quite funny if you're interested in like not so serious horror movies, then it might be your cup of tea. But anyway, all right. So let's have a look. Oh, the name of the series, Final Destination. Final Destination. Okay. All right. Now let's move on. The last one. Don't walk backwards because if you do, the devil will follow you. Yeah. The devil being the red person thing, demon that has these little horns. When you're making a moral decision, like, should I steal to feed my family or shouldn't I? And then there's always a little angel on one side and a devil on the other. Yeah. So don't walk backwards like this. Yeah. Because if you do, the devil will follow you. Hmm. What do you guys think? Three, two, one. The answer is actually real. According to this website, Don't Tempt the Devil, walking backwards is considered bad luck in Portugal and Italy, as this will show the devil your way. He will be able to follow you and cause you grief. So, my question is it only bad luck in Portugal and Italy, or is it bad luck everywhere? Right? So, because the first thing I thought of when I looked at this superstition was if Michael Jackson were doing a world tour in Portugal or Italy, he would get so much bad luck. You know, doing the moonwalk. Can anyone here do the moonwalk? I myself, I'm not a very good dancer. I'm not a very good singer either. I'm not really good at many things, to be honest. Mm. But there you go. Anyway, everybody has their skills and not so skills. That's not really a phrase. Oh my gosh, I am tired. Okay, so don't tempt the devil. Do not do the moonwalk. Otherwise, the devil will find you. Okay, I thought this was the last one, but apparently we have one more. Never eat the ends of a loaf of bread first because you will have bad luck with money. Okay? Now, if you don't know what a loaf is, it is this thing. Yeah. Usually, when we buy bread in the supermarket, it's in a loaf or it's already sliced, ready for you to make some toast. Of course, depending on the country. But sometimes they don't slice it because then you can choose the thickness of the toast or slice of bread that you want. Yeah. So, no slice, this big piece of bread is called a loaf of bread. Okay. By the way, do you guys eat the ends of the loaf of bread? Because it's usually quite dry, right? Everybody likes the white part, but not many people like the outside dry brown part. And one thing I was really surprised about when I came to Japan was when you go to the supermarket and buy a sandwich that's already made, like ham and cheese, bacon, lettuce, tomato, or something like that, the crust, the ends or the outside layer of the bread, it's always gone. It's just the white part. And to me, as I grew up as a young child in the UK, we were always taught don't waste food, eat the crust of the bread, because there are many children who just leave the crust. Um, Now, for me nowadays, I do eat the crust, not because I like it, it's because I'm stingy and I don't like wasting food or money. But it is quite dry, which is why you need to add, make sure the filling has a lot of, I don't know, ham, mayonnaise, whatever you put in your sandwiches. Yeah. FZ says the crust is the most delicious part, really, but I guess it does have a kind of burnt flavor, smoky flavor. How do you describe this flavor? I don't know, but anyway, very good. So Layla says, "Oops, I always do that. You always eat the end of the loaf first." Well, in that case, you're gonna have bad luck. I'm sorry to say this, Layla, but unfortunate for you, you're gonna get some bad luck because it is considered extremely unlucky to eat both ends of a loaf of bread before you've eaten the middle. It's said that if you do, you'll have trouble making ends meet, basically making money in the future. Okay, so oh no, Layla, everybody, let's wish for Layla the next time we blow out our birthday candles or something like that. Okay? But of course, it's just a superstition. There's no science. It's fake. Or is it? Okay, so now we're gonna skip ahead. I don't think we have time to do every. Actually, okay, this is the last one. Okay, there is only one more. If the end of your pencil breaks, you will have bad luck in your next test. Five, four, three, two, one. This is actually fake. I just made it up. Okay? So there we go. There are a lot of different, very strange superstitions all around the world, but you should be fine, even if you do these things. Yeah. This one was quite interesting because it's from England, my hometown, my home country, but I've never heard of this. Don't eat lettuce if you want children. In the 19th century, men in England avoided eating lettuce if they wanted children, as it was said to be detrimental bad to childbearing, having a child, because it was a sterile plant. Okay, I've never heard of this, but anyway. Okay, so let's move on. All right. So, how do you feel? Do you do any of these bad superstitions? Now that I think about it, all of those were bad luck. Like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And this is going to be a theme later today when we dive deep into a very interesting story, a real life example of how superstitions can make people go crazy. But it seems like there are a lot more bad luck superstitions than good luck superstitions. Hmm, why is that? Maybe, what do you call it? Humans have a negative bias or something like that. But let's move on. Maybe that's why I'm broke. Oh, FC. Okay, so do you believe in magic? I want you to imagine Harry Potter, fantasy movies, fantasy books, Lord of the Rings, Gandalf, all of these. famous kind of magic related stories. We love fantasy, or at least I do. I don't know about you, but do you believe in magic? Just a quick yes, no on the YouTube side, on the Hello Talk side. Just let me know in the comments. Do you believe in magic? Yes? No? Personally, no. I do not believe in magic. However, if somebody tells me, oh, by the way, somebody died in this house and what was it? Their spirit is still here, then I probably would be less happy about renting or staying in that place. So I can't say I don't believe in magic or the supernatural 100%, but generally, if I had to choose one, yes or no, I would say no. Now, Edskull says no, and another name I can't read is, oh, thank you for joining. No, thank you. Okay, so depending on your country, actually, there's a huge difference in beliefs in magic depending on where you are from. Okay, so we have three different categories. Yeah, so which one should I do first? Okay, so looking at the West, this is generally like Europe, America, Canada, and so on. Latin America, Africa, and the Far East, which is places like Japan, Korea, and China. Okay? Now, there is each of these places go into one category. Yeah? So, we have 80% of this place believe in magic, but only 20% don't. This place, 62 and 38, and then we have two places where 80% of people do not believe in magic. So, which places go where? Yeah. So, for example, do we think Latin America, most people believe in magic? Maybe the West, most people don't believe in magic. What do you think? I'll give you just 10 seconds to think about this. Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now the answer is, there we go. In Africa, most people, almost everyone, believes in magic. In Latin America, it's about 2/3. Yeah, 2/3 of people roughly believe in magic. And then in the West and the Far East, most people do not believe in magic. Okay? And then, ooh, FZ, I'm from North Africa, and yes, we do believe in magic. Thank you for sharing, yeah? So some real life evidence to show. Now, it's a lot to do with history and culture, and to be honest, maybe there's magic in some places, but not others. Maybe Africa is a magical country. Who knows? But it's always interesting to look at these, differences in culture. Also, it also depends on your religion. People have found that Christians tend to believe in magic a lot more than other religions compared to, Muslim, Hindu, Jewish, Buddhist. And generally speaking, the people who believe in magic the least are the grey ones, the people who are not religious, or the Jewish people, okay? And then all of the other religions are somewhere in the middle. And you can see here that places like Sweden, Japan, Australia, Hungary, they believe in magic the least compared to places like South Africa, Colombia, Nigeria, Kenya, and Ghana. Okay? And of course, depending on your country, you have different religions. Okay? So, interestingly, an average of about 56% of people globally believe in spirits in nature. Yeah. So again, lots of African countries believe there are spirits in maybe like the trees, the water, the air. But in places like South Korea, Sweden, Poland, not so much. Still quite a lot though, 28%. That is one quarter of the country. So it's quite a lot. Interestingly, there are some countries where, for example, relatively few Japanese people say religion is important, but most people believe that there are spirits in the world. Now, this is a bit strange, isn't it? Right? So, okay, religion's not important, we don't believe in religion, but spirits, yes. It's a bit of a contradiction, isn't it? It's kind of the opposite. Not completely, but interesting. Yeah. So if we look at the graph, religion is very important in their life. Bangladesh, 97%. Yeah. Japan, it's only 7%. But then we have there is definitely or probably life after death. Yeah, when you die, you can still live on as a spirit. Or maybe reincarnation. Wow, that's a huge jump from 7 to 47%. Yeah, nearly half. But then if we look at animals, parts of nature, or certain objects can have spirits or spiritual energy, then it jumps even higher to 69%. Yeah. So it's a pretty crazy difference, right? Religion, spirits, superstitions, these things are all connected, but sometimes in some countries they're not. Who knows? But so let's have a look at our first set of superstitions. Numbers. Now, I want to ask you guys, in your country, maybe just sharing your country name, and then what are some good luck numbers and what are some bad luck numbers? Yeah. So country, numbers, good luck, bad luck. And then maybe we can start to see some patterns. Let me go first. In the UK, 13 is an unlucky number and 7 is a lucky number. Are there any others? I think 666 in most Christian countries is bad luck because it's the sign of the devil. Anything else? Friday the 13th, 666, and then 7 is good. No, I think that's about it. Yeah. But what about you guys in your countries? Yeah. What are some lucky and unlucky numbers? Well, if we have a look at our first thing, these are Roman numerals. Now, if you study history or Latin, or you're just interested in Italian or Rome culture, and you might have seen these before. Yeah. So 1 is I, 2 is I, 3 is I, and so on. Okay. Now, my first question to you, what number is this? What number is this? I'll show you one more time. So XVI. What number is this? Whoa, I made a mistake. Sorry. XVI. Okay. What number is this? We have some people very fast. Very well done. XVI is the number 17. Yeah. So we have X, number 10, V, 5, and then I. So that's, oh, sorry, that's 2. Yeah. So 10, 5, 2. That means 17. Yeah. Okay. Now, interestingly, this number, 17, is bad luck. But why? It's because if you rearrange the letters, it becomes this word. Vivere is the word to live, and vixi or vici is the word I am dead. Or rather, it's the perfect tense. Sorry, I made a mistake here. This should be what was it? Vixi is supposed to be I have lived, I have dead. Oh no, sorry, it is right. Oh, my brain. I'm sorry, I'm making a lot of mistakes. So, basically, it's the present perfect tense. If you know the present perfect tense in English, it basically connects the present to the past. Yeah, I lived, I have lived. Yeah, so this is the perfect. So, in other words, it means I am dead. Okay, so this is why 17 is especially unlucky in Italy. Okay, now let's move on to another one. Hi, Margarita. Do you notice anything interesting about this picture? There's something strange about this picture. Can anyone tell me what's wrong? What's weird about this? Margarita says she doesn't believe in number superstitions. Well, then, you might be okay. But many people do believe in number superstitions. FC says from Sudan, we prefer odd numbers over even numbers. Ooh, that's interesting. Is that because maybe it's easier to like split in two? Maybe it's like it's nice, you can split easily. But yeah, so what is so strange about this picture? Well, we look here. Oops, not the pen. There's no row number 13. Yeah, we have 12. Oh, what was that? Oh, I can do this. Okay, interesting. I just learned how to use my laser pointer. Very useful. Sorry. So, we have the row number 13. We have 12. We have 14. But we don't have 13. And that's because it's an unlucky number. Now, if you're in Asia, in Japan, or in Korea as well, China, sometimes if you go on the elevator or maybe in a hospital, they will not have the fourth floor or the fourth room, right? It will just skip that number. But actually, since living here in Japan for about half a year, I've seen, or rather, I always see there is a floor number 4. I'm not sure about hospitals. I haven't been to a Japanese hospital yet, luckily. Um, but yeah, I think it's a bit more of an old-fashioned superstition. But there you go. Margarita says someone has stolen the number 13. Give it back. We need extra space on the plane. But oh, interesting. Currently in China, people hate the number 4. Yeah, there you go. So it also depends on the country. Sometimes it's common, sometimes not so common. But the reason why the number 13 is unlucky is related to this famous painting. Can anyone tell me what is the name of this famous painting? I'll give you 10 seconds. Please write the name of this famous painting. Bonus points if you get the spelling correct. Yeah, drawn by Leonardo da Vinci. John Kay, The First Breakfast. I love that. I'm sure that's a joke because it's the complete opposite. But nice joke. I like it. The First Breakfast. I always skip breakfast, by the way. I think breakfast is overrated. People say it's the most important meal of the day, and I'm sure for some people it is, but for me personally, I always get tired after eating. I think it's because when you digest food, it takes energy, right? So then start to feel tired, what we call a food coma. But no, it is not the first breakfast. Eddie, It is indeed the Last Supper. Very well done. Now, just a short, interesting story. Supper is another word for dinner, but it's a bit more old fashioned. Not People do use it, but it depends on where you're from. In the UK, I never use the word supper for dinner at home, though my family is Chinese, so it's a bit different. But for most people, we say dinner. But at school, I was very lucky to go to a kind of like fancy school, a private school for like rich kids. You don't have to be smart. That's why I was there, and luckily my parents um, spent a lot of money to send me there, right? Though I didn't feel like I was supposed to be there. You know, all these rich kids, often their children are very smart, like geniuses, like politicians and things like that. Um, but anyway, so in this school, it was kind of like Harry Potter, where in the dining room you have this long table. It's not as fancy, of course, as like Oxford University and things like that. But it was a nice dining room, right? When we had a Christmas dinner, there were candles, there were decorations, nice glasses for orange juice, not wine because we're underage. But anyway, I'm going off topic. So in this fancy school, we use the word supper. Imagine like the queen or the butler of the queen saying, madam, supper will be done in a moment, so please wait, or something like that. Yeah, imagine that supper. But normal people, we Brits, we casual people, we just say, yeah, dinner's ready. Hurry up, the food's getting cold. Yeah, stupid. These kids playing their video games. I can't pause the video game, mum. And then, you know. So, yes, dinner is the normal word, but some places say the word supper. If you want to be elegant, then you should use the word supper. Anyway, stupid. Sorry. um, nice to see you, Zia. Um, so the Last Supper. Now, the reason why 13 is unlucky, you might be able to notice, but it's related to the number of people here. Now, as many of you probably know, if you learned it at school, Judas was not a very friendly person, or rather, he wasn't the most reliable person. Can anyone tell me which person is Judas? Now, this is just an example. So, for example, if you want to say this person, you could say the second person from the left. If you want to say this person, you could say the third person from the right. Now, which person is Judas? And do you know why? How do we know it's Judas? Right? 10 seconds. You know, I feel like when I give you these questions, I should set a timer and I should set some like quiz music like dun, 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 dun. Anyway, Zia, who's Judas? Judas is a very bad man. Don't worry, I didn't actually explain this, but for those of you who don't know, Judas was the person who betrayed Jesus and basically told the Romans about him, and as a result, Jesus was sacrificed, or rather, he sacrificed himself to be, on the cross. And it's probably the most famous story, one of the most famous stories in the world. Yeah. So, Judas, the betrayer. Judas is actually this person, the person with brown hair. Yeah. So he is, in other words, oops, sorry, that's a bit rude. So we have the first, second, third, fourth, and then fifth person from the left. Okay. Now, why do we know this is Judas? Well, it's because of two things. And one, actually, I think this person is watching right now, but one of my students taught me this. I didn't realize it, so it was absolutely fascinating. But when Judas kind of told the Romans, the guards, that Jesus was hiding, um, he actually got a reward. And it is this thing here. Can anyone tell me what is this thing? Yeah. What do you think he might have gotten as a reward from the guards? Yeah. So the guard said, "Tell us, where is he? We'll give you some." This is actually money, gold coins. So you can see here he's carrying a bag of gold coins. Now, there's also one more interesting thing. A pair of socks. John, a pair of stinky socks. Now, Judas was the 13th guest, and that's why 13 is the bad luck. But we also have another superstition, and that is related to this thing here. Spilling salt is also bad luck. And again, it's because of its connection to Judas in the final Last Supper. Okay? Right. So there we go for that. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh my gosh. But there we go. So I think 13 and the story of the Last Supper is one of the most famous stories, superstitions in the world. So now you know. You can teach all of your friends about this, and they probably won't care, but some, what we call it, mame chishiki in Japanese, bean knowledge. I feel like there's an English word for this. Like just random facts, random trivia that you know, like interesting, but kind of useless. I forgot what we call it. I don't know. But anyway, okay, so moving on. Trivia. That might be it, John. Thank you. So, an ominous future. Let's study a bit of vocabulary because, of course, this is an English lesson. Ominous. A nice word when talking about superstitions because it means a sign of something bad in the future. Yeah. We might say, I don't know, what's ominous? Spilling salt is ominous. Maybe scary animal noises at night is ominous. Yeah, it's a sign of something bad in the future. And the noun is omen. Sorry, I forgot to add this here, but the noun is omen. If you think about these dark clouds, yeah, looking at this is very ominous. If you watch any horror movies or any emotional movie and there's something bad is going to happen, they will usually show this as an ominous sign. Yeah. Okay. Now, let's have a look at some sounds. Okay. I'm going to play some sounds for you, and I want you to tell me what ominous sound do you hear? Okay, this is where my audio is probably not gonna work because it never works. So please give me a second if you want to go to the toilet. This might be a good time. Okay, so desktop audio, let's go with speakers. Okay, that's working. Let's try. Okay. Let's go with this. Speakers, is it working? Huh, it should be working. Okay, let's try. Did you guys hear that? I think that was loud enough. Okay, so what was that sound? I'll play it again. Huh? Okay, I need to turn it down, otherwise my neighbors are gonna get angry at me. So what was that sound? We have Kate says a duck. Well, interestingly, it's not a duck. A duck would go quack quack, at least in English. I mean, I don't know about your country or language. What sound does a a duck make? Quack quack in English. But yes, indeed, this is actually. Why is it not playing? Okay, this is a crow cawing. Okay, a crow cawing. And yes, there are different words for every single animal. A dog barks, a lion roars, and a crow caws. You don't need to know this, okay? But crows, often a sign or an omen of death. You know, maybe it's the Grim Reaper in disguise, but a crow cawing is the answer for this one. Now, looking at the next one, what do you hear here? That was very quick. I'll play it a few times. Three, two, one. This is indeed glass breaking. Very well done, Zia. Good job. Yeah, broken glass. Okay. So breaking glass, broken mirror especially, is usually a bad omen. Okay, a sign of bad luck. Okay, next one. Oops, sorry. Okay, got it. A clock. Interesting. It's related to a clock. This is indeed a bell. Yeah. And I did do some research. So I did do some research. I didn't put it into the presentation because it's too long. But basically, if you listen to what was it? There when there is a wedding, we often hear wedding bells, right? After they get married, it's like dun 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 dun. Anyway, apologies for the bad singing, but there's like wedding bells, and it goes dun dun dun. Is there a special sound? But there are wedding bells, okay? And similarly, when someone dies, when there's a funeral, often again at the church, they will play a different set of bells. So the wedding bells are very like happy and it rings many times, like dun 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 dun. But for a funeral, it will ring once, very long time. So it'll be like boom, boom, and things like that. So often, if you watch movies again, movies like to show things through pictures, and sounds, and video, right? So often you will see things like dark clouds, sound effects like bells or crows, and this is another omen. Okay, but very good. Okay, next one. Okay, it's a bit quiet. I'll move my microphone closer. Okay, 1 second. Okay, any ideas? Do you want a hint? Would you like a visual hint? I'll give you a clue. Normally, humans do not do this unless they are very hungry or angry. Yeah. Okay. Hiss is very close, Mish. Very nice. Ripping paper, not quite. It is spot on. Meow. It is a cat hissing. Yeah. Yeah. Um, some people believe that cats can sense like spirits or bad aura, bad energies. And so maybe if you hear or see a cat hissing at someone, maybe there's a ghost possessing them. Maybe there's something strange, supernatural about them. Or maybe they just stink and maybe they didn't take a shower today, like me. No, I'm joking. I did take shower I took shower this morning. So, a cat hissing. Yeah. Okay, next one. Listen carefully. All right. So, any ideas? That is actually pretty creepy, right? Yeah. So, what was that? Hmm. It was indeed somebody. Oops, sorry. It was somebody whistling. Oh, that's loud. Yeah. So actually, okay, was the audio this long? Okay, right. I got so creeped out. I didn't expect the second part. I've only listened to the first part when testing, so I forgot there was a second part. Oh my gosh. It's not Halloween yet. Halloween's still 2 weeks away. Um, but yeah, I can't whistle. Like, can all of you whistle? People say you're supposed to like roll your tongue. Too much. No, I can't do it. But I can roll my tongue. And some people can even make a double U shape, like a double um, rolled tongue. I don't know what you call it, but yeah, I can't whistle, unfortunately. But there you go. Someone whistling at night is very bad luck, and usually people say that you might attract some snakes, like in this corner here. Yeah, so be careful. Don't whistle, especially at night. Okay, and the next one. Oh, it was quick. Can you hear it? Okay. So it was a bit quiet, so I'll do it for you. I won't show my face. Yeah. You've got hay fever, especially in summer, or you have a cold. Yeah. It's the worst. The worst thing is when you're getting ready to sneeze, you're expecting a sneeze, and you're like, but then it never comes, right? You never actually sneeze. It's the worst because when you sneeze, it's gone. The feeling in your nose, it's all clear, right? But if you don't sneeze, then it's still there. But you're not sneezing, so you can't feel relieved. That's the worst. But anyway, it is someone sneezing. Yeah, need a box of tissues when you sneeze. I guess it also depends on if you have. Do you have a blocked nose where you can't breathe through your nose at all? Or do you have a runny nose where just the water, the snot will not stop coming out? Blocked nose? Runny nose. Yeah, it's the worst. All right, moving on. Someone sneezing. Now, interestingly, I showed you the answer. But sneezing has another kind of superstition that's related to it, and I'm going to use Dragon Ball as an example here. I don't know what's happened here. Um, it's very hard to read. I don't know why the text is like this. I got them from the internet. But anyway, young Gohan, the son of Goku from Dragon Ball, he says, but If Daddy, if he's coming back to life, I want to be trained by him. Too bad, he's powerful, but he's not coming. Oh, he's no combat master. Look at the way he's corseted you. I do not know. He doesn't have the toughness that is mainly needed, okay? So these two characters are talking about his father, who is in a different place. Scene change, and then he goes, ah, chew! Yeah, he sneezes. Sniff, sniff. And so he runs and runs and runs, little dreaming of his only son's misery. Yeah, so you can see he's running on the top of a dragon. So basically, there's a superstition that if you sneeze, someone is talking about you. Yeah. And if you watch Japanese anime or read manga, you'll see this kind of scene where, what was it? There's like a conversation in one place, they're talking about somebody, and then suddenly it changes the scene, and the person they are talking about sneezes and goes, ah, maybe someone's talking about me, or something like that. Yeah. Do you have this superstition or thing in your country? Hmm. All right. Yeah, interesting. It happens in China as well. There you go. So, very cool. Okay, so, bonus question. What do you say when someone else sneezes? Okay. Ooh, also in India. Thank you, Zia. So, when someone else sneezes, usually, especially in the UK, again, I'm not sure about other countries, but we always say a certain phrase. Yeah. If someone else sneezes, we say 100 years old. What? Ping? I don't know why that makes me laugh, but somebody sneezes. Achoo! 100 years old. Like, what? Who's 100 years old? Anyway, very good. Margarita, Eri, Etsko, Zia, thank you very much. We do indeed say bless you. Okay? Bonus question. Why? Why do we say bless you when people sneeze? Does anyone know? Has anybody done some research about this? So, there are actually. Oh, Mish already said it. Sorry. I did not see where Mish said. Oh, I see. Mish said it a long time ago. You mean bless you? Thank you, Meal. Sorry, I missed that. Um, we say someone is talking about you, especially your bad. Oh, somebody is bad mouthing you or bad trash talking you. You could say. Very good. But yeah. So why do we say bless you? It's actually related to a big event in Europe called the Black Plague. This was a pandemic in Europe from 1346 to 1353. So it was worse than COVID. Now, it wasn't as bad in the sense that it was only in Europe. COVID was all over the world, and that was pretty crazy, wasn't it? Like when we were in the middle of COVID, we were thinking, is this ever going to end? Are we going to live in quarantine, like social isolation for the rest of our lives? And during the COVID period, it felt like forever. But looking back, we're quite lucky. It was only like 2 or 3 years. 3 years? 4 years? I can't remember. But anyway, the Black Plague was a terrible event that happened for about 7 years in Europe, and I think it killed a quarter of London's population as well. But terrible stuff. Now, there's another important word that you need to know before I explain why. The soul is the non physical, the spiritual part of you. Okay? These are the two words you need to know, and now I'm going to show you video. Remember, Black Plague was a pandemic long time ago, and the soul is the inner, it's the spiritual part of you. And I'm going to show you a YouTube video from a person called Insight Fusion. There you go. Let's have a listen. Let me hopefully move my microphone so you guys can hear it clearly. Okay, right, let's have a look.
When someone sneezes, the polite thing to say is, "Bless you." But where did this custom originate from in the first place? There are two possible explanations. The first is that people used to believe that sneezing expelled your soul out of your body. So saying, "Bless you," was meant to protect your exposed soul from the devil. The second possible explanation is that during the Black Plague, sneezing was seen as a sign of sickness, and saying, "Bless you," was a way of offering a prayer to someone before they died. Today, it's just polite.
So there you go. Okay? So did you guys get that? Yeah? Would you like me to play it again? Please? Just write in the chat again if you want me to play it again. Yeah, you got it? So basically, two reasons. One, people used to believe when you sneeze, your soul comes out your body, and then the devil is getting ready to take your soul. But by saying "bless you," you can protect that soul. Yeah. The other reason was because during the Black Plague, when disease was everywhere, everyone was getting sick. Bless you was just a way to say, I hope your soul rests in peace. R.I.P. Because you're dead. So see you later. Yeah. So bless you was a prayer to say, I hope your soul rests in peace. Okay. So those were the main reasons. Zia says the second reason seems more logical than the first one. Yeah, I mean, when thinking about logic and science and things like that, it's often the opposite of religion, right? I don't want to say religion is not logical because I'm not religious and I know many people here are. It's just a different way, how do I say it? Belief? Because there are many things that suggest or maybe give a hint at the idea there is a God and these spiritual things, but it's just different, right? Some people believe in religion, some don't. That's okay. We're all different. 10 people, 10 colors, as they say in Japanese. But Margarita says, in this world full of bad things, we should bring or wish more blessings to others. That's right. Very true. Though I have to say, I do really respect the people who... I know some people, like when you're talking about your problems or you're talking about something stressful, they will say things like, you know, I will pray for you, or like, good luck, I'm sure everything will be fine. And to be fair, that's very common. It's okay. But there are some people who just say things, and there are some people who will take action and do things. And I really respect the people who move and do things to try and help. Now, of course, you can't always do this, and sometimes just saying, I hope everything goes well, I will be thinking about you, sometimes that's all they can do, and that's great. Yeah. But sometimes you have some friends like, oh, I see, okay, oh, that sounds tough, well, good luck with that. YouTube video, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah. So anyway, that was off topic. So
When someone's
oh my gosh. So let's have a look at some colors. Okay. Now here we're gonna do something a bit different. Oops. Yeah, let's go with this. I made a mistake here. Now, there's an important word before we talk about colors. Associate A with B. Yeah, a new word for you guys. To connect someone or something in your mind with someone or something else. Okay? So for example, if I say, when I see red, When I see red, it makes me think of, it reminds me of the heart or blood. Yeah? So associate A with B. I associate red, the color red, with the heart or blood. In my mind, these two things are connected. Okay? Associate, to connect two ideas in your mind. Everyone's different. Again, it depends on your culture as well. We look at this example. When you see A, you think of B. Everyone associates Starbucks with coffee. Yeah. What about summer? What do you associate with summer? Some quick comments. I'll give you 10 seconds to write. What do you think of when you see or hear the word summer? Ooh, very nice. I like that. Okay. So, what was it? Ah, with an umbrella, a parasol on the beach, watermelon, mosquitoes, definitely hot. Lucky. Wait, why is summer lucky? That's interesting. Swimming, definitely. Vacation, ice cream, sunshine. Hi, Safia. But yeah, so actually, I think all of you said pretty much what's in this picture. Maybe an umbrella, the sun, the sea, swimming, hot weather, and so on. Yeah. So there we go. Interesting. Everyone associates summer with the beach. Yeah. Everyone associates summer with the beach. Okay. Next, let's do something interesting. I'm going to send you a link, okay? Or rather, please go to this website, www.menti.com. I'm going to type it in the comments, so please give me a second. Menti.com. Okay? And please enter this code. Okay? Uh-oh, sorry, 1 second. Copy. Oh, I need to. Okay, let me just copy this. I should have opened it beforehand. Okay, so I'm going to give you a code. Just wait a moment, and then we're going to do a color quiz together. You're going to use your smartphone or your laptop or PC, and we're going to answer some questions together. Okay, so I'm going to move this here. And we're going to go here. Whoa! Sorry. So I've changed the password. So please enter this code here. It says 67847036. Okay. So let me just quickly go back over here. My PC's being very slow. Present. And then there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to, let's go back to this one, and then where is Hello Talk? Here we go. Okay, so hopefully we have some people joining in. I see some people have already entered some answers. Absolutely wonderful. Yeah, so go to menti.com and enter the code 67036. Yeah, so you can do this on your phone like this. So I will go menti.com. Just quickly show you. After you put in menti.com, you will put in this code, and the code is right here. 6784703. Okay. All right. And then you should see you are able to answer the question, and you can tap here and then enter your answer. What do you associate with red? Okay, great. So I'm gonna carry on for now. So the thing I associate with red, actually, I need to answer this question as well. What do I associate with red? Okay, I'm ready. So let's have a look at the answers. Let's go. Where is the enable comments? Ah, here we go. H. And these are the answers. Oh my gosh. Somebody's put the code in the thing. That's fine. So we have blood. So the bigger the word. Wrong. So the bigger the word, the more people put that answer. So this means most people said that red, they associate red with the number 6781. Yeah, blood, anger, love, festivity, Chinese flag, passion. Ooh, interesting. Okay, there we go. Right. So let's move on. What's the code? You can't see this. Sorry, the code is 6784. I'll put it into 7847036, and I will pin this. Pin. Yeah. Okie dokie. Don't worry, take your time. So www.menti.com, and then you enter this code. Okay. Right, let's move on to the next one. Let's have a look at blue. Which one? What thing do you associate with blue? Okay. So we'll wait for a few things. I'm going to show the answers. Water, sadness, the sea, and the sky. Very nice. Yes, I do think. Oh, I just realized I pinned Zia's comment. Ooh, the sky. Okay, so more than one person has put the sky. The ocean, the sea, same thing. Very good. Interesting. Okay. So you can see, even though we're all from different countries, it does seem like we're getting similar answers. Yeah. Okay, very good. Right, next one. Gloomy. That's a good word. What about yellow? What do you associate with yellow? This one. I'm gonna say. Now, it doesn't have to be an object or a thing. It could also be a feeling. It could be a person. Ooh, energy is a good one. I think about the sun. Sunflower. I was thinking about putting sunflower. Very good. Banana is a good one, Elisa. Nice. Yeah. Ooh, interesting. Somebody said sick. Flowers, definitely. Yeah, there are a lot of yellow flowers, aren't there? Okay. Bright, sick, interesting. Hope, very nice. Really? Pornographic content? Really? Why yellow? Okay. Right. Are we ready? So, I think we can move on. Nice. The thing I associate with orange, somebody wrote minions. Interesting. Orange, please don't write the word orange, you know, the fruit. I knew it. Somebody was gonna write orange, of course. Does anybody have a different answer? You did it. It was Zio, was it? Um, can anybody be more creative? Harvest, good. Autumn leaves is a good one. Um, can I think about something? Oh, I know. I put pumpkins. Yeah, Halloween is just around the corner. Pumpkins. Yeah, very nice. Okay. Right. Now, let's move on. Sunset is a very romantic one. Nice. I like that. Harvest, fall, definitely. Fall, autumn. Yeah. Very romantic. Good job. Okay. Green. That's a very bright green. Um, to me, green is go, go. Yeah, with the traffic lights. Thrive. That's an interesting one. Very good word. Leaves, definitely. Field, grass, signal, definitely. Traffic signals, life. That's a good one. Yeah. Maybe also you can write more than one word. I also think of nature. Nature. Yeah, plants. Interesting. Somebody said betrayal. Betrayal. Hmm. And I'm going to put one more. I don't know if you guys have heard of the phrase green with envy. Green with envy. In many countries, green is the symbol of like jealousy, being envious of someone. Yeah. Betrayal was more red than green. Yeah, I feel like betrayal is like red, bad, evil. But there we go. Lots of great answers. Very nice. Thank you very much. Okay. Purple. Purple is a difficult one. Hmm. Evil. Interesting. Oh, royal color. Very good. Wisdom. Definitely. Grapes. Definitely. In my country, you don't have many purple grapes. It's usually green. And then I'm also going to agree with royal color. In the UK, purple is a very royal color. Grapes, also lavender's a good one. Yes, of course, lavender. Elite, yeah, maybe the hierarchy, high class, definitely. Eggplants, very nice, yeah, definitely. Wine, yeah, it's usually food, isn't it? Blueberries, but blueberries are blue. Well, no, actually, I think they are kind of purple, aren't they? Okay, thank you very much. We'll stop it there. Great stuff. Next, pink. What about pink? I don't know about you guys. I think of the word Barbie. Has anyone said, oh my gosh, somebody else put Barbie? Victoria's Secret. Wow, if you want to buy some sexy underwear, then you might go to Victoria's Secret. Yeah, romantic, love, definitely. A girl, Barbie. Kindness, interesting. Peach, I mean, yeah, maybe not this deep pink, but yes, a light pink would be peach, wouldn't it? Very nice. Passion, good. Adorable. Angel, very nice. Hmm. Why am I stealing your answers? What are you talking about? I made this quiz. I got this. Yeah. Love. By the way, is Barbie popular in foreign countries, like outside America? I've always been curious. Anyway, cherry blossoms is a good one. Nada says yes, interesting. Flamingos, yes. You said Barbie before me. You shush. I said it first. All right, great stuff. Thank you very much. Well done, guys. Good answers. Just a few more. Black. The thing I associate with black is. I know. I know which one. Can I find the emoji? Here we go. Death. Oh, the skull. We have night. Silence. Very good. Very good. Ooh, Margarita says crows. That's a good one. Definitely. Hell. You know, I imagine hell's red. People say that hell is full of fire and flames. Death. Definitely. Rebellion. Wow, that's a very high level word. Yeah. I'm surprised no one has said the dark yet. Though I guess night is quite similar. But yeah, Bia said dark. Very good. Yeah. By the way, how many of you were scared of the dark as a child? Me, I was terrified of the dark. Oh my gosh. Illegal funeral, very nice, definitely. Yeah. Okay, great stuff. Thank you very much. Now, moving on, the opposite of black, white. Hmm. I would say, oops, let's go with this one. Ooh, simplism or simplicity, I guess. Ooh, innocent, definitely. Yeah. Children, white little angels. They're innocent, they're naive, they don't know anything. They're innocent and pure. Yeah. Snow is a good one, definitely. Peace, the white dove, the symbol of peace, is a white dove. Very good. Okay, great. I think we can move on. Our future. Ooh, that's an interesting answer. Who wrote that? A nurse, definitely. A cloud, very good. Yeah, these are great answers. You guys are a lot more creative than me. I was thinking about this for a long time and I could only think of like one or two ideas. But very well done. Good job. Okay, the last two. There's only two more. Grey. Grey. This one, I think it's boring. I think it's boring. Grey. Yeah. Wait, why is nothing showing up? Hello? Oh, there we go. Pencil, boring. On the fence. Ooh, on the fence is a good one. Yeah, black or white, not black or white. Balance, good. I guess it is kind of a neutral color, right? Raining, definitely. Yeah. Gloomy sky, yeah, like we looked at earlier. Yeah, an omen. Very ominous sky. Concrete, definitely. Gloomy sky, groomy. I think they mean gloomy. Yeah, fog is another good word. Okay, great stuff. Right, let's have a look at the final one. The rainbow. A mix of all of the colors. When I think about the rainbow, I associate the rainbow with fortune. That's an interesting one. Variety, definitely. Wow, fortune. So I put LGBTQ, thinking about the pride flag. Dreams, interesting. I wonder why they said fortune. Trans, definitely. Trans, lesbian, bisexual, gay, all of that stuff. Rainbow after rain. Ooh, kitsune no yomeri kana. Rebirth, interesting. Colors of life, beautiful. Hurt my eyes. Yes, my eyes. Very true. It's very confusing, isn't it? Diversity, inclusion, great words. Very well done. Okay, great job. Butterflies, yeah. Unicorns, cocktails, cheerful, lucky. Some great answers in the chat as well. Fantasy, that's a good one. All right, we'll end that there. Oh my gosh, so many answers. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. But looks like fortune is the most common answer. Thank you very much. Magic. Okay, now the next question. I want you to choose your favorite color. What is your favorite color? Please just choose one. My favorite color is purple. Ooh, we have one blue. What's your favorite color? Ooh, lots of people saying red, and I wonder maybe if you're from China, red is a very lucky color. Yeah, two blue, two white, one purple. One person says gray. Interesting. I guess it's quite a cool color, right? But there we go. Okay. So it looks like some people say purple, yellow, red, black. No one here has said red, but I think in the Hello Talk chat, many people have said red. Yes, the lucky red envelope. Very good. Okay, thank you very much. You can close that there. Thank you very much. Well done, guys. That was really good. Maybe next time I will do a quiz game and we can have you guys taking part in the quiz as well. But thank you very much. Okay, that was a nice little quiz, little thing there. Okay, let me rearrange things and let's go back to the presentation. Okay. All right, so what do you associate with red? When I was making this presentation, I chose the first things that came to my mind. I thought for a few seconds. These were my first answers when I was making this presentation. I had love, the sky, cheerful, citrus, nature, royalty, Barbie. See, Zia, I was not copying you. I said this first. Get out of here. I'm joking. So, Barbie. The unknown. Ooh, spooky. Yeah. Nothing. Just just empty. Nothing. Maybe the afterlife, it's just white. Or maybe it's just black. Grey, it boring. It boring. Boo. And then rainbow. Bit of LGBTQ. Yeah. Okay. I've just looked at the time. It is nearly 10 o'clock, and we haven't even dived into the story. I have two stories for you today. Let me just quickly check. How many slides do I have? Oh, okay, the story's next. Okay, so we're fine. We're fine. Okay, should we look at this video? Okay, so let me quickly show you a video. When I was studying psychology in university, we looked a little bit at the psychology of color. And there was a very interesting finding we kind of discovered. There is some research about color, and it does affect how we see things. I can't remember when it comes to food psychology. I think if you are low in body weight and you want to gain weight, putting food on a red plate can stimulate your appetite. It can make you feel more hungry. That's what they said. Um, and so, yeah, if you want to gain weight, maybe you're underweight like me, actually. I don't know about now. I've been eating a lot of junk food recently. But if you want to gain weight, put your food on a red plate. But if you want to lose weight and eat less, then put your food on a blue plate. That's from my memory. I'm not 100% confident if those are the right colors, so please take that with a grain of salt. Okay, but anyway, this video shows a bit of research from science that different countries have different words for colors. That's normal, that's expected. But the more interesting thing is that in some countries, in some languages, especially some of the African languages, there are less words for colors. Yeah. Some languages have many, some have a few. But there are a special set of core colors that every country has. Yeah. So if a country only has 3 colors, it will always have this, this, and this color. If it's 4 colors, it's this, the same, and this color. Let me show you. Let's have a look at this beautiful video from Vox. Okay, so listen carefully.
You probably said blue, purple, and brown, but if your native language is Wobe from Cote d'Ivoire, you probably would have used one word for all 3. That's because not all languages have the same number of basic color categories. In English, we have 11, Russian has 12, but some languages like Wobe only have 3. And researchers have found that if a language only has 3 or 4 basic colors, they can usually predict what those will be. So how do they do it? As you would expect, different languages have, and until the 1960s it was widely believed by anthropologists that cultures would just choose from the spectrum randomly. But in 1969, 2 Berkeley researchers, Paul Kay and Brent Berlin, published a book challenging that cultures randomly. But in 1969, 2 Berkeley researchers, Paul Kay and Brent Berlin, published a book challenging that assumption. They had asked 20 people who spoke different languages to look at these 330 color chips and categorize each of them by their basic color term. And they found hints of a universal pattern. If a language had 6 basic color words, they were always for black or dark, white or light, red, green, yellow, and blue. If it had 4 terms, they were for black, white, red, and then either green or yellow. If it had only 3, they were always for black, white, and red. It suggested that as languages develop, they create color names in a certain order. First black and white, then red, then green and yellow, then blue, then others like brown, purple, pink, orange, and gray. The theory was revolutionary. They weren't the first researchers interested in the question.
And so, yeah. So, by the way, sorry on the YouTube side because I realized the audio is repeating, so sorry about that. But yeah, as you can see, I know he spoke very fast, but there were some nice pictures. So, every country, every language might have a different set or number of colors, but it doesn't matter how many you have, the core colors, or the first 3 or 2 colors will always be white and black. It's universal. Yeah, I guess, you know, when you think about TV, all colors are some mixture of white and black, right? Well, technically, white is the mixing of all colors and black is the absence of all colors. But you get the idea. Yeah, so there does seem to be a kind of universal order to these colors. Maybe, probably, because red is close to humans. I guess it's the color of our blood, our heart, and love, and these kinds of things. So, but anyway, there we go. Okay, so let's. Oh,
You probably said blue.
And if we look at this picture, depending on your culture, you might also have some differences. Yeah. So in Western culture, let's have a look at black, for example. In Western culture, black usually means death, mourning, but in Eastern culture, Far Eastern culture, apparently health, prosperity, and stability. Is this true? It doesn't seem like it. I don't think it's like that. Okay, and then in Indian culture, please let us know, Zia and others from India, evil, darkness, negativity. Does that sound right? Middle Eastern culture, mystery, mourning, and rebirth. So it seems like in Far Eastern culture, it's a bit of a exception, a bit of an outlier, right? But anyway, so thank you very much. Now, let's move on. Oh, also, depending on your religion, the different colors might have different meanings. Yeah. Now, let's have a look at today's story. Today, we have 2 stories. I want you guys to listen very carefully because there's going to be a lot of information, and I want to go through the story without reading the comments because, one, if I stop, then it will be very difficult to follow the flow again, and two, because we need to focus for this one because it's very interesting, a deep story where many things happened. Okay, it won't be too long, but let me just get ready for this one. Oops, sorry, because we're gonna look at the chain letter panic. Now, before we start, does anyone know what a chain letter is? What is a chain letter? Have you ever heard of this thing? A chain, meaning these metal things that are connected together. Yeah. A chain letter. Let's have a look. This is a picture. A 1922 advertisement in the Tokyo Asahi Shimbun copying the style of what we call a lucky letter, which is a type of chain letter. Okay? Now, these didn't come from Japan, but they spread to Japan more recently. I believe they came from America. Here, we see a very old book talking about the history of strange trends in 1922. Yeah. The story begins around 1922 in Tokyo, where the lucky letter started to become popular. People believed this originated from the lucky chain game in Europe during World War One. Yeah. So this lucky letter kind of system, this trend, came from Europe. Okay. And one example, sorry, not Europe, Europe and the US and the West. Here is an example. You see, different names. Yeah. This chain was started in the hope of bringing good luck, prosperity to you. Within 3 days, please make 5 copies of this letter, leaving off the top name and address, and adding your own name and address to the bottom of the list, and give or mail a copy to 5 of your friends whom you wish good luck to come. Okay? There were also similar chain letters in the US, and some of these letters were translated into Japanese. January 1922. The article shows a lucky postcard from London. Maybe this is where the trend started. Okay, trend, a pattern of human behavior. Okay. Usually, the lucky letter will look something like this. As we saw earlier, for good fortune, please write these exact words on 9 postcards and send them to people who you want to wish good luck. After 9 days, great fortune will come your way. However, if you break this chain and don't send the postcards, a truly terrible disaster will come instead. Write and send these letters within 24 hours of seeing this postcard. What would you do if you received this kind of chain letter? Yeah? Because once you open it, according to the instructions, you can't just ignore it. There's a time limit, yeah? 24 hours. And if you don't, then you're gonna get some really bad luck. Now, if you're not superstitious, it's fine. No problem. But in these times, 100 years ago, there was a panic. And when people panic, for example, in the pandemic, we start to forget things. We start to become less logical and we start to be more affected by the panic around us. So, what would you do in this situation? Would you continue the letter? Would you send it and curse five friends? Or would you break the chain and just ignore it? Now, another question. Which would you prefer? Would you prefer to avoid lots of bad luck or have lots of good luck? Yeah. So, this is a very interesting psychological question. Because if you think about it, avoiding bad luck, so if we imagine neutral, average, just no luck, everything is just normal, avoiding bad luck would be neutral, right? It just means you don't have bad luck. Okay? Having good luck means even better than usual. Maybe you win $1 million in the lottery tomorrow. Yeah. Maybe you meet the partner, the love of your life tomorrow. Yeah. But when we look at this question, I don't have the data, but from what I've studied in psychology, people tend to have a negative bias, which means most people would choose avoiding lots of bad luck. Yeah. Now, I don't know about you guys. Would you choose to avoid lots of bad luck? Or would you choose to have lots of good luck? Because it seems like a lot of people would prefer to avoid lots of bad luck. These letters were called lucky letters, and the purpose, the original aim or goal of whoever spread these letters was to spread good luck. But ironically, most people spread the letter because they were scared of getting bad luck. Yeah. And we can imagine this when thinking about the pandemic, right? Many people avoided going outside because they were scared of getting sick, right? We tend to avoid negative things and the negative feelings, embarrassment. Yeah. Um, for example, when you practice for a speaking, like a presentation, let's imagine you've got an event and you're going to be speaking in front of hundreds of people, thousands maybe. Yeah. And your friend asks you, why are you studying so much? Or why are you practicing so much? Do you want to stand out? Like, do you want everyone to remember you? And you might say, no, I just don't want to screw things up. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to be embarrassed. That's a much more common reason for practicing, studying, or doing these things, right? We often do things to avoid bad results. Okay? Humans are interesting. But, by the way, ironically is a very difficult word. It basically means when something unexpected or the opposite happens. So, for example, the letters were for good luck, but ironically, unexpectedly, people spread them because they were scared of bad luck. Okay? Now, let's have a look at differences in culture. Because, interestingly, it seems like when talking about lucky letters, the West often focus on money, right? So let me explain that a bit more. You know when it said the lucky if you don't pass on this lucky letter, then you will get bad luck. It seems like there were slightly different versions in different countries, right? So in the West, the lucky letters often said, if you don't pass a letter, you're going to lose a lot of money. Yeah, so it was related to money. But in the East, it was often more related to health. Okay, if you don't pass on this letter, your family member will get sick or something like that. Okay, but the turning point was when politicians started using these lucky letters for campaigns. Businesses started creating advertisements, yeah? So they were using these lucky letters, even though they didn't believe in it, they knew that many other people did. So they used these lucky letters as a way of kind of like getting your attention and maybe getting you to join their business and other kind of shady, suspicious business deals. So it really did start to affect the real world. Now, this is how it would go. One person would send the letter to 9 people. So you start with one person, then to 9, 81, 729, 6,561, and so on. Now, if you're a big fan of looking at data, I know many of you probably do not care about statistics and data, but if you're studying at university or, it's part of your job, this word might be useful. There are different types of growth. There's linear growth, 1, 2, 3, 4. The speed is constant and it doesn't change. It's a straight line. This is the same as sending the letter to one person, then that one person sends another letter to one person. But this is not what happened. It increased a lot faster. This is what we call exponential growth here. Yeah, exponential growth. This means as time passes, the increase gets higher and higher. So it goes doop, 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 and so on. Yeah, so you can see the increase is getting faster and faster. This is what we call exponential growth. Faster and faster. Okay? Now, these letters were spreading absolutely everywhere. I want you to imagine, put yourself, go back in time 100 years ago, in Japan, in America, everywhere. Everybody knew what a chain letter was. Everybody knew that if you get it, you have to pass it on to the next person. So you were writing it, yeah? Your baby brother was writing it. Even your dog was writing a chain letter. It was absolutely crazy, yeah? Now, if you repeat this process 9 times, yeah, 1, 9, 81, how many people do you think these chain letters will reach? So if you are very good at math or you have a calculator, you could do, what was it, 9 to the power of 10. 9 to the power of 10. So it'd be like 9 times 9 times 9 times 9 times, blah, 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 10 times. Yeah. Can anyone tell me how many people, how many chain letters would you send just after 10 times? I'll give you 5 seconds. 9 times 9 times 9 times 9. That's okay. It's not too important, Zia. Thank you, though. Yeah. So if you repeat this chain letter process just 10 times, the number of chain letters you get is 3,486,784,401 chain letters. Just for your information, there are approximately, roughly, 8.2 billion people on Earth right now. So, just after sending it 10 times, this means more than a third, more than 33% of humans will have received and sent a chain letter. That is nuts. That's how crazy exponential growth is, right? So it's quite scary, and this is why. How do I say it? Marketing, advertising, and business. Yeah, often they have these campaigns, right? You will see many businesses saying, if you, what was it, recommend our service to 3 people, we will give you this prize, or something like that, right? And this is using the same idea, exponential growth, even if it's just a tiny thing, right? Even if they're just buying like a $1 item, yeah? If you recommend 3 people, and then 3 people recommend 3 people, blah, 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 that $1 could become millions, billions maybe, right? All from a simple understanding of statistics and data. Yeah. Math. It's not my strongest subject. I was very bad at math in school. But we need to look at the lucky letter incident in 1926. This was also known as Japan's first mystery incident. It was an incident where we still don't really know the person who was responsible or started this incident. We have to start the story with a person called Imakita Sakunosuke. He was the head of the government's Monopoly Bureau. Now, if you don't know what the Monopoly Bureau is, so we have things like, the Bureau of Health, Education, and other things. The Monopoly Bureau was in charge of managing or controlling the selling of goods like tobacco, spices, and things like that. Basically, imports from other countries. Okay? So this person, Imakita, he was the head of that bureau. He had a lot of power, and he had a lot of things that he wanted to do. Now, some people say that he received a letter from an American acquaintance. Yeah. And Imakita, knowing English, he translated it and added instructions and sent them to 9 friends. Okay? So I'll say that one more time. Imakita received the letter from overseas, maybe London, maybe America. No, it did say American. He translated it and decided to send it within Japan. Yeah. And being in a very high position, he was able to send it to many influential people. Yeah, other high-ranking politicians. And one of these people was the former mayor of Tokyo, Goto Shinpei. Okay? He was the mayor of Tokyo. So, there were many stories. There was a lot of gossip. There are a lot of theories. What really happened? Why did they spread these chain letters and cause this huge panic? Yeah, because it did spread through Japan and many other countries, and even the public. We will talk about it later, but it did have some serious effects. Yeah. But many people thought after they realized these chain letters were not really real, it's just rubbish, it's a superstition, many people believed that it was a conspiracy. A conspiracy is a secret, illegal plan to do something bad, usually from powerful people. Yeah. If you've ever heard of, in America, in the desert somewhere, there's an area called, is it Area 56? Area 51? I think it's maybe 51. People say that Area 51 is this secret government facility where they research aliens and are hiding alien technology. This is kind of like a conspiracy, right? People think the government has a plan to use this technology to brainwash humans and things like that. But anyway, some people believe the lucky letters were a conspiracy. It was actually an experiment by the government to test information diffusion. Information diffusion is basically spreading information. Okay? If you've ever watched any movies where there are like politics, you will realize, and especially with elections as well, and in Japan and the US with like mayoral elections, presidential elections, social media does a lot of the work for us. We use social media. Everyone, even children nowadays, they're always looking at social media. And many people get most of their information no longer from the news, but often from social media. Some people only use social media, but most people, I think, use a mix of newspapers, TV, and social media. Yeah. But some people believe that these lucky letters were a conspiracy. They were a secret plan to spread information and understand how to spread information. So that maybe in the future, the government and these high-ranking officials can maybe use this data from this experiment to spread the information more efficiently, more effectively. Yeah. Maybe for a good cause, or maybe to spread something that will give them power, something that will help them in the next election, or something like that. Okay? If you understand human psychology, especially as a politician, that's really scary. They can do a lot of things. Anyway, from 1926 to 1954, the letters gradually started to disappear. But they still affected some people. Fear of death, unlucky letters invaded the world of children. There were some stories. After World War II, after the Great Kanto earthquake, these letters started to disappear. People started to realize, oh, I didn't send it, and I was fine, right? So a lot of people started to stop believing in these silly superstitions, and there were more important things to worry about than these chain letters, okay? But there were some stories of, for example, a young middle school girl who talked to the newspaper companies and said she was terrified. She couldn't leave home because she wasn't able to send the chain letter in 24 hours. Or maybe some people couldn't send it to enough people. There were people who even started to believe that crazy world life events, for example, Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, he died. And some people believe he died because he didn't send a chain letter, right? So there were still a few effects, affecting some smaller areas and a smaller amount of people. But it largely died down. Everything calmed down. In America, going back maybe 15 years, in the middle of the chain letter pandemic, there were some sources that a crazy amount of letters reached the Denver post office in New York. Okay. Now, on April 28th, 1935, they received a crazy amount of letters in one day. Just write in the comments, thinking one post office, just thinking about your local post office. Okay, now this was New York, so it's a big city, but it's one post office in New York. There are many. How many letters do you think they received during this chain letter pandemic in 1935? Just have a quick guess. Maybe typing your answers in the comments. Was it like 1,000? Maybe 5,000? A billion? Okay, maybe not that high. Zio says a number I can't even read. Mio says 10,000. Gala says 2,000. Good guesses. Except Zia, you were completely off. Too much, too much. On April 28th, 1935, the Denver Post Office received 165,000 chain letters. This was one post office. Yeah. That's absolutely crazy. And as you can see here, yeah, you are going to need a lot of staff to go through all of these letters. That's just crazy. Yeah. Can you imagine? Back in those days, they don't have AI or automatic sorting systems or computers. They have to do everything by hand. My head hurts just thinking about it. Like, oh my gosh. But that's crazy. Yeah. 165,000. Oh my gosh. But there we go. And sorry, I just saw something. What was it? Theoretical prize. Oh no, that's fine. Okay, right. And this is what the chain letter looked like. Yeah, we looked at this earlier. But many people realized it was just a scam. Okay. So that's the end of the first story. It's getting late, but I don't want to end here because there is one more story that I would like to share with you guys. And this one also takes place in Japan, but it's kind of connected to the chain letters that happened. And actually, this story has been happening over many years. And it has kind of concluded or finished actually earlier this year. Yeah. So let me share the second part of the story, but before that, let me just quickly read the comment. No, okay, we'll keep going. All right. If you're not from Japan, you may not know what this is, but this is a very famous book, and it caused quite a big controversy or panic very recently, just earlier this year. You may not have heard of it, but it's a book called The Future I Saw. Okay. This book was published in 1999. Okay. This is very important, so remember this. It was published in 1999. Now, there's a special word I want to teach you before we move on. A belief that something will happen in the future. Yeah. Often if you want to, sometimes there are people who go to have their palm read, or sometimes people want to know if their future is bright or dark, right? These people, they have a crystal ball. Imagine. This is a very small one, but like, ooh, this is actually a snow globe. Very pretty snow globe. But imagine, okay? So, yeah, they're predicting the future. Now, what do we call this belief that something will happen in the future? Well, this is a prophecy, okay? Now, a lot of ancient civilizations have had prophecies, right? They kind of pray to the gods and they say, last night I saw a dream that in 10 years the world will end, right? Doomsday, and then things like that. Yeah, these beliefs about the future are called prophecies. Now, they're similar to superstitions in that there's no proof. You can't really predict the future. By nowadays, we have technology, AI, and we can kind of predict tomorrow's weather based on data, but we can't really predict the future 100%, or at least not the far future. Yeah. So, a prophecy is something that you believe will happen in the future. And in this book that was written in 1999, it had a prophecy that a huge disaster would happen. According to this book, there is a prophecy. It says a huge disaster will happen in March 2011, right? So, you can't predict the future. Prophecies are just, rubbish, right? But actually, in 2011, on March 11th, the Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, one of the hugest earthquakes in the history of Japan, happened. The prophecy came true. Question: was it just a coincidence? Was it just chance when two things happen together? Or could the author of this book really see the future? I'm going to pause here. What do you guys think? Do you think it's possible for people to predict the future? Can prophecies have some truth? In this case, was it just a coincidence? Or did the author really have a prophecy? What do you think? Now, ooh, interesting. Gala, coincidence. Alvin saw the future. Mio hopes it was a coincidence. Zia, religiously, yeah, true. Logically, coincidence. Interesting. So we have a bit of both here. Okay. Now, moving on. Sorry, let's skip this question. So the book and prophecy were published in 1999. The first prophecy came true in 2011. Sorry, the order is a bit wrong here. But in 2025, there was actually another prophecy from the book. Yeah, sorry, I should make that clear. The book written in 1999 made more than one prophecy. Yeah, so in 1999, it said, in 2011, there will be a huge disaster. It came true. It also said in another part of the book, in 2025, in March, actually, I can't remember if they said exactly which month, but the second prophecy, a huge tsunami will hit Japan in July 2025. Guys, do you remember what happened in July 2025? Earlier this year, just a few months ago, because I remember vividly, I remember clearly what I was doing on that day, July 30th, I believe. On this day, July 30th, 2025, not Japan, sorry, there was a tsunami happening off the coast of Russia. This is what it looked like. Waves flooding the area, crazy damage.
Пиздец.
It struck off Russia's far eastern Kamchatka Peninsula.
Здравствуйте.
You can see all of the boats moving away from the coast so they don't get damaged by the waves. So, there we go. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know how you feel about prophecies, these books, and the future. Some of you might think, come on, that's just crazy, right? There's no way people can predict the future. But then others might be thinking, come on, the chance of these two events, this book predicting not just one, but two. But then again, you could argue, yes, it did happen in the right year, but it wasn't Japan, it was closer to Russia. So the book didn't come true. But then others might say, yeah, but it was pretty close, right? I can imagine two people arguing like this, right? But personally, I don't believe in all of this, or maybe I don't want to believe in this, like Mio. But personally, I feel like it's kind of pointless. It's meaningless to worry about the future, and I think this is a very deep topic. Knowing the future, it depends on your idea of destiny. Do you believe in destiny? Do you believe that the future is already set in stone? Is it already decided? Because if it is decided, maybe it's better not to know the future, because you can't change it, right? If you know you're going to die at 50 years old and now you're 30, maybe you want to know, because then you can enjoy the last 20 years of your life, you can be more adventurous, and you can just try all the things on your bucket list. But at the same time, if you know you're going to die in 20 years, can you enjoy those 20 years? Every day you're going to bed thinking, I know when I'm gonna die. 20 years is not enough time. Could you enjoy those 20 years? Personally, I don't know. I don't think I could, but I would hope that I would just accept get used to the idea that I'm going to die. I mean, 20 years is a lot better than like 1 or 2. And unfortunately, in this world, some people are very unlucky to just suddenly be sick with a terminal illness, an illness that they can't recover from, right? A lot of us are very lucky, but not everyone is. Cancer can come from nowhere. Even if you don't smoke, you have a healthy diet, you're a wonderful person that helps, so many people. Tomorrow, you could just get a terrible disease, and that's that, right? Young children, also. It's just crazy. But I didn't mean to get into such a deep kind of conversation about this, but anyway, it's interesting. Superstitions may not always be true, but they can have real consequences. Yeah. For example, this book actually it affected the travel industry. If we look at one person from Hong Kong in charge of a travel agency, they said there has been a 50% decrease in bookings in April and May to Japan from last year. Yeah. A lot of people from Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, China, a lot of tourists from these countries coming to Japan, especially. So Hong Kong being very close and also being quite superstitious. My mother's from Hong Kong, and I do feel like she's quite superstitious. When we first moved into a new house or building, I remember seeing her put some coins in the corner of the room, and I said, "Mum, why are you putting coins in the corner of the room?" And she said, "It's good luck." And I was like, "Huh? Okay." But, some people, some cultures are just more superstitious than others. And if we look at the changes in tourism for Japan just before the prophecy, just before July of this year, you can see in May, Korea, this much. And then, sorry, what's the percentage? Oh, this is a very bad chart. I didn't put the measurements. I think it was 11.8% of tourists from South Korea, and then three dropped to 3.8%. Taiwan, 15 down to 1.8, and then overseas to US, Europe, 24 to 7.6. Sorry, this was growth. Okay. And if we look here, yeah, there were huge changes. And in general, Asian tourism decreased, but actually, Western tourism increased. But why? Why would Asian tourism decrease, but Western tourism increase? It's a bit strange, isn't it? Well, actually, there are a few reasons for this, a few ideas. Number one is that manga and anime has more influence in Asia. Yeah. I remember growing up, and when I went to Hong Kong, I watched a lot of Hong Kong TV, and I spent so much time just watching Doraemon in Cantonese, in Chinese, right? And now thinking about that, if I watch it now after studying Japanese, it would feel very strange to watch Doraemon in Chinese. But going back to the story, because manga and anime have more influence in Asia, this book, I think, I forgot who said it, but someone in the comments from China said they know this book, right? Not so many people from America, maybe almost no one knows this book from the West, right? So maybe that's one reason why it didn't affect Western tourism. Another, oh, here are some more examples of like manga in, not manga, I forgot what you call it, manhwa or something in China, and similarly manhwa in Korea. Okay? Now, the second reason, well, if everyone's doing it, maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. The second reason is herd behavior or peer pressure. I'm sure we've all had those times in school where we feel like we have the right answer. We feel like we know what to do. But then we realize everybody else is doing something different. They are all doing the same thing, but it's only you that has a different answer. You start to lose confidence. You start to think, maybe I'm wrong. This is called peer pressure or herd behavior. We tend to go with the flow. We tend to go with the crowd because it's easier and safer. Even if you're right, even if you have the correct answer, sometimes it's better just to keep quiet and go with everyone else. Yeah. But depends on the situation. Sometimes we do need to stand up and be brave and just stick to our original answer. There's a funny comic here showing the same thing, the idea of herd behavior, peer pressure. If you have any knowledge about stocks, stocks are basically buying a part of a company and owning a small part of the company, and you invest money into these stocks and it might increase or decrease over time. And one of the most difficult things is knowing when do you buy stocks and when do you sell stocks. That's how you can make a lot or lose a lot of money. So when should we buy? When should we sell? This person on the left here says, I've got a stock here that could really excel, could do well. This person listening, really excel? The next person, excel? Did someone say sell? Sell? Sell, 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 sell. This is an example of Chinese whispers, yeah? If you've ever... I like to do this game with my students sometimes, but basically, everybody's closed their ears, and you whisper one sentence or word to the first person in the line. And then they basically say it to the next person, and at the end of the line, you realize the sentence or the word has just become something completely different, right? So this is an example of Chinese whispers and how people are easily affected by others. Yeah. And then here we have another example. Somebody saying, sell, sell, sell. This is madness. I cannot take this anymore. Goodbye. Goodbye. Bye. Bye, 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 bye. And the cycle repeats. Okay? So this is herd behavior. The final reason for why Western tourism increased and Asian tourism decreased to Japan is because of location. China, Korea, Taiwan, and many other places, they're very close to Japan. So imagine you buy a ticket, or you're thinking about buying a ticket to Japan, and you think, yeah, next month there's been a lot of news about that book. It says there's going to be a huge tsunami next month. Now, I don't really believe in superstitions, but I can go anytime, right? Like, it's not a big deal. So I'll buy my ticket in July or maybe August. It's very easy for tourists from these countries in the east to cancel or just delay their trip. But for people traveling from the UK or America, it's not so easy. These tickets cost a lot of money. I want to go home this Christmas to the UK, but whew, tickets are expensive at Christmas. Comparatively, people from Europe, the UK, from America, they have to travel really far and spend a lot more time in travel. That is the end of the story. I feel like I should have connected it a bit more, but I hope the two stories about the prophecy and the chain letters, I hope you enjoyed them. We're not quite finished yet. We have a final review quiz, and then we'll finish. Okay? So, does anyone have any questions before we do the final review quiz? Any final questions before we do the quiz? No? Quiz? Zia, she's like, Eric, shut up. Teach us some English. No, I'm joking. Okay, so, all good? Okie doke. Oh, actually, sorry. Let me quickly read some of the comments. So, future reader, coincidence, 20 years is a long time, and then agree with you, don't want to know the future. Yeah. And I think that's fine. Zia is bad. Don't worry, Gala. Zia's not bad. She's just kidding. Or maybe she's not, but I don't think she's bad. Everyone here is okay. Right, let's move on to the Superstitions review quiz. Please type your answers in the comments below. I'm going to give you 10 seconds for each question, and you can just write 1, 2, 3, or 4, or sometimes you might have to write a word, okay? So, let's go with question number 1. Which word means a sign of something bad in the future? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Guys, interesting. You're very close. The answer is actually number 2. Ominous, a sign of something bad in the future. Now, it is very similar to prophecy, but the difference is, let me go back. A prophecy is a belief that something will happen in the future. So, for example, if I give you an example, a dark cloud. When you see a dark cloud, we associate this with bad luck, right? So it's a sign. We see it, we think, oh, I don't feel good about this. If we see a black cat, if black cats are bad luck in your country, you might think, oh, something gonna happen? These are signs of something bad in the future. In other words, they are ominous. However, prophecies, they kind of just come from nowhere. Well, it could be a dream or something. But it's a belief that something will happen in the future. But they are very similar, so don't worry if you got that wrong. Okay? All right. Now, which area in the world is the most superstitious? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is indeed Africa, followed by Latin America, and followed by the West and the Far East. Okay? Nice. All right. Next one. Question, or sorry, sentence. I met a new classmate today. After talking to each other, we realized we have the same birthday. That's such a superstition, omen, prophecy, coincidence. New classmate, we talked, same birthday. Whoa, that's such a coincidence. Yeah, a situation when two things happen together by chance. Yeah. Often when there's a crazy coincidence related to knowing people, like let's say for example, um, you meet a new classmate, you talk to them, and you realize that their parents run a restaurant, a ramen restaurant. And then you say, "Oh, by the way, what I love ramen. Like, what is the name of your parents' restaurant?" And then they say something something. You say something something. I love that place. I always go there. And then she goes, "Wait, are you I don't know, Eric?" And I say, "Yeah." "You're Eric? Oh my gosh, my parents." And there's like a crazy connection between two people. In English, we say, "Such a small world." It's such a small world. Okay? I know in Japanese you say "sekin ga semai ne." "Sekin ga semai," which is very similar. Such a small world. Yeah. So when a crazy coincidence between relationships, you can use that phrase. Okay, right. Such a small world. Which one of these is not an example of a superstition? If you exercise, you will be healthy in the future. If you break a pencil, you will get bad grades. If a crow starts cawing, something bad will happen. If you see a spider in the morning, it's good luck. I'm going to quickly open the window. Please give me 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is... Oh, this doesn't really help, does it? The answer is number 1. If you exercise, you will be healthy in the future. Because if you exercise, you will be healthy. This is something that always happens. It's proven, right? Science, we know, we have results. If you exercise... I hear a dog barking outside. Does that mean an earthquake is coming? Is something bad going to happen? Anyway, dogs are not as ominous as crows, so I'm okay. But anyway, yeah, so if you exercise, we know we will become more healthy. We lose weight, better blood flow, gets the heart pumping, yeah. It's not related to bad or good luck, and there is scientific evidence, so it's not a superstition, okay? Now, next one. We already wrote the answers, you don't have to count, sorry. Anyway, which country believes that sleeping with a fan on is bad luck? What do you think? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the answer is... it's not Japan. It's not Japan. The answer is South Korea. In South Korea, people will never sleep in a closed room with a fan on. Yeah, because they believe it will kill you. But I don't think many South Koreans believe in that nowadays, but I don't know. I've never been to Korea, but I would love to go to Korea one day. Okay. What is this called? What is this called? It is bread. You're not wrong, Gala. Yes, it is bread. What do we call this shape or this larger piece of bread? Because we can have a slice of bread, or we can have a... Very good. Well done, guys. A rectangle of bread. I like that. I like that answer. We would call it a loaf of bread. Yeah. Never eat the ends of a loaf of bread first because you will have bad luck with the money. Okay. All right. A conspiracy is something that comes from a different time period, something that people believe is true but has no evidence, a secret illegal plan to do something very bad, or a belief that something will happen in the future. What do you think? 5? I think you need to wear some glasses. Conspiracy is 3, 2, 1. It's a secret illegal. Oh, it's a secret illegal plan to do something bad. Yeah. When talking about politics and these like suspicious events that happen, we call them conspiracies. Okay. Right. What do people in the West say, especially in Christian countries, when someone sneezes? This one should be easy peasy lemon squeezy. So, 5. Let's say it together at the same time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Achoo! Bless you. Thank you very much. Now, I have a funny story about this. I was riding the Shinkansen, or was it a normal train? I was on the train, and this was one of my first days in Japan, and when I didn't really know about Japanese culture yet. It was a quite long time ago, and there was this man sitting next to me on the train. I didn't know him, um, but because in the UK, anytime we hear somebody sneeze, even if it's a stranger, if we hear somebody sneeze, especially if they're next to us or close to us, we might say, bless you. Yeah. And then just carry on. Right. So it's become a habit. So when this happened in Japan, my brain, still in UK English mode, they sneezed, and I said, bless you. And then later in my head, I realized, oh yeah, they don't say that here. And then the guy looked at me. He obviously didn't understand me. Maybe he didn't hear me, but he was like, oh, what? And I was like, oh, so stupid. It wasn't an interesting story, but yeah. You don't need to say bless you in Japan. Just like, for example, I did this today when I was walking in what was it, in the middle of Tokyo. I got off the elevator and there were lots of people behind me. Now, Japanese people are very polite, so this is kind of confusing for me, but when you get off the elevator in Japan, it's very common for one person to press the button, like to keep it open and let everyone go first, right? So, in the UK, we have something similar. If there's a door that you have to open, usually if it's a pulling door, you might pull it and say, traditionally, it was ladies first, but we just say, other people first. So, I did this in Japan, and then I basically looked at people and I said, you can go through first. And then a lot of them looked at me like, what? Why are you doing this? Okay, do you want something from me? They gave me some strange looks, like not all of them, just one or two. And I was thinking, isn't this just the same thing as pressing the elevator button and letting everyone go first? It's the same thing. Anyway, it's not bad. It's just that I don't know why people look at me weird. Anyway, what is the population of Earth, roughly? if you can tell me the right measurement, yeah, is it 1,000? Is okay, of course it's not 1,000, but can anyone tell me what is the population of Earth roughly? Oh, Kin, you are very close. Lily, the closest yet. Zia, even closer. The answer is 8.2 billion. Okay, Ocean just got it there. I'm going to give the gold star to Lily, Kin, and Zia as the first 3 students to answer. Please come to the front of the class. Gold sticker, boop, on your forehead, boop. Anyway, sorry, I'm stupid. Okay, which word has a similar meaning to come from? For example, people believe the lucky letters came from the lucky chain game in Europe. Okay. And everybody is saying number 1, originate, and the answer is exactly number 1, originate. Well done. If you know the word origin, meaning the place or the thing where something came from, then originate is the verb to come from somewhere. Yeah, the source of something. Okay. All right. Next one. Oops. Da-da-da don't exist. People can't predict the future, and if something does happen, it's probably just a coincidence. A prediction that something will happen in the future. A belief that something will happen in the future. Everybody, let's say this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Prophecies do not exist. What are you talking about? Yeah, you're crazy. Prophecies do not exist. Okay? Why is 13 bad luck? Now, the answer is maybe a sentence. You don't have to write this, but just saying it out loud, pretend I am teaching you face to face. Why is 13 bad luck? I'm listening. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay, I see. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You are completely wrong. Get out of my classroom, you absolute donut. No, I'm joking. So, if you said that it's because Judas was the 13th guest and he betrayed Jesus Christ, then you would be correct. Very well done. That is it for today. I think we will finish it there. Just to do a bit of self-advertisement, if you want to know a bit about me and what I do, my name is Eric Chong. I don't like to say I'm a YouTuber because I'm not a very good one, but I live stream. I also have my own website where I teach private lessons. I have a very special student watching this live stream right now, and maybe some other ones who are not saying anything. But I do teach. This is my website, ericenglish.co.uk. So if you're interested in having a lesson, these are the kinds of lessons I do. Bit of free talk, bit of themed lessons, what we've done today. We also look at some books and picture description and all of that stuff. Okay, but that was it for today. Fact or fiction, all about superstitions. Next time, now I have to apologize because next week I will not be able to stream because a very important friend is coming to Japan and I can only meet them on the Saturday evening, which is this time right now. So I will be busy then. But in 2 weeks' time, we will definitely be doing a very interesting one, Halloween. And we're going to talk about a few different, maybe talking about, what was it? Horror and like mystery, different cultures. How do people celebrate Halloween in different countries? And we're also going to do A little bit of a horror story time. Once upon a time, there was a young boy named Henry. So yeah, we'll do something fun in 2 weeks' time on the Halloween stream. Okay, but don't worry, it's not gonna be too scary because sometimes I do these lessons with my younger students. So of course I can't if I put something really scary into the presentation, then I can't show it to the children, or the parents might complain because I gave their children nightmares. So I will not. If I do put something scary, I will, put a warning before the slide. For example, okay, I'm gonna show a pretty scary picture, so if you don't want to look away now, and something like that. Don't worry, I will protect you. I got you covered. Okay? So there we go. All right. So let me just quickly read the comments and then I think we can finish for today because it's 11 p.m. and I did not plan to live stream for this long. Woo. Now that I've stopped talking, I suddenly feel the tiredness like hitting me all at once. You know when you're focused on something, like you're at work, there's something urgent that you need to do, you're focused. And then when you suddenly finish and you're just walking home, you're like, "Woo, I'm tired." But that's how I feel right now. But anyway, let's have a look. Give some credit to yourself. Don't say you're not good. Oh, it's very sweet. Okay, I'm the best teacher. I am amazing. I can't say that. But I will accept I am a pretty good teacher. I hope. Had great fun. Thank you, Mio. I'm glad you enjoyed the stories. I put a lot of effort into making it like a documentary and kind of mysterious. And I'm gonna do my best to make the Halloween stories and the folklore and the fairy tales, all of that. Hopefully, that will be enjoyable as well. But apart from that, bless you. Thank you, Gullet. Did I sneeze? I didn't think so, but anyway. I'm not young with a strong heart. I have a old. You're probably not that old, Zia. Well, I don't know how old you are, but let's say you're not old. But thank you very much, Gala. I'm a pretty good teacher. So I think we'll end it there. Does anyone have any final questions for today? If not, thank you, Cindy. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'm glad you had fun. Yusra as well. I like the way you make it funny. I'm happy that you find me funny. Sometimes I do these things and I make, especially when I make YouTube videos and I make a stupid joke, I look at myself when editing and I think, I'm such an idiot. Sometimes I feel like I have the humor of like a 4-year-old. But to be honest, I'm happier being a stupid 4-year-old than a boring 30-year-old. Because that's how old I am. I'm old. I'm old. I feel old. But then I don't like to say that because I feel old for 30. But that's just me. Because, like, the reason why I feel old is because I want to achieve more at this stage in my life. I want to have a big house and things like that. But I haven't done that, so that's why I feel old. So, but if somebody is like 35, I don't think they're old. It depends on what they've done with their life. Does that make sense? Anyway, so if you're older than me, you're not necessarily old, so don't worry. Anyway, yes, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Take care. Do not eat too much junk food. Remember to exercise, and remember that is not a superstition. If you eat junk food, you will get fat. So don't eat too much junk food. I'm just looking at my mountain of potato chips in my closet. I will not show you, but that's my weakness. Potato chips. Or sorry, I should say crisps in the UK. These days, I just use American English because it's easier for Japan because they study American English. Anyway, but have a wonderful evening, guys. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Maybe next week. If I do a live stream next week, then I will message you on my moments as usual. And yeah, if you want to check out my YouTube page, then you can find it in my profile, I think. I forgot to pin it today, but anyway. Yeah, I know. I want to stream next week, but because I have a friend coming, I don't think I can. Maybe on Sunday, but I want to relax on Sunday. I'm lazy, so I want one day off, so I've got to take care of myself because if I don't take care of myself, I can't teach well, and then I don't have the energy, I can't be funny or cheerful, and then I can't give a good lesson. So, yeah, gotta take care of yourself before you can take care of others, right? So, but yeah, I'll see you guys in 2 weeks. I will update you if there is a live stream next week. You will find it on my moments. So, peace out. Take care. Have a wonderful day, evening, and I'll see you next time. Okay? Bye, guys. Take care. Okay. Where's the YouTube side? See you guys. Bye.